at how some of the currency pairs are trading this morning. In just a moment, we'll bring them up. But on the margin, we're seeing a euro trade a little bit firmer versus the dollar this morning. Dollar is trading on the back foot versus the euro. And sterling, we're also seeing sterling come off a little bit here. So the dollar is trading firmer versus sterling. So a bit of a mixed bag for euro and for sterling. Dollar yen, we did see a flight to quality bid yesterday. Some of that has been unwound, and some of the strength that we had in the Swiss franc yesterday also coming off a little bit today. The euro trades stronger versus the Swiss franc as European equities attempt to trade with a risk-on tone. I want to bring in David Pierce, the director of GPS at Capital Markets. It's great to have you with us, David.
Thank you very much.
So we've talked a lot about the impact on commodities, on chemicals just now. How are you thinking about the oil move and the commodities move in terms of commodity currencies? Are there any currencies you're looking at in particular that are more exposed?
Well, it's this is kind of really a broad topic right now, because it's not only just the commodity currencies that are exposed that you normally think about, the Canadian dollar, Norway, but it is really impacting worldwide, because it is, when you look at countries that really don't produce oil, like China, which is a major consumer, it really impacts the currency pair there, because it's costing them more to buy oil, because they're going to have to be buying dollars, and it makes some real movements in the currency that you wouldn't normally expect. And it's not just the commodity producing countries, it's really kind of a worldwide impact with this. And so it's pretty far reaching right now. And I think we saw that yesterday with the overall strength of the dollar.
Yeah.
And because there's really going to be more demand for the dollar just because it's cost more for oil.
And it's interesting what you say about China, actually. It's what Juliana was speaking about a little bit earlier, because they are a net importer of oil, and they've been actively devaluing the currency. Yeah. It's been depreciating. But surely now, with this additional consideration of oil, perhaps they may have to put a stop to that to keep the currency under control.
Maybe. I really am not sure if that's what they're going to do. Because if you look at the Chinese government and the way that they are trying to battle, let's say this, it's really Trump that they're battling against, and his tariffs against their products in the United States. The Chinese government has got a lot more power than a U.S. president or pretty much any president in the world, because it is much more centrally organized, and it's much less dependent upon the individual people, and the political process there is really very top down. And so I think that they have got a lot more ability and capability to drag this thing out a lot longer than most countries do. We've got an election coming up in the United States, and that really impacts candidates' ability to play hardball. And in other words, the Chinese government, I think, can continue to devalue their currency for a lot longer than the U.S. can really play.
In terms of China's moves here in absorbing the cost of higher oil, I mean, you make the very fair point that they have a centralized government and can control things to a much stronger degree than the U.S. can. But surely this has ripple effects that do impact the Chinese economy, and they're already facing the impact of the trade war. So how do you see them actually absorbing these higher costs?
Well, the Chinese government still has a lot of money, and they still have a lot of U.S. bonds. They can sell a lot of those things, but I think that the Chinese government has got a lot more problems than this. Their biggest problem is not the trade war; it's what's going on in Hong Kong right now. And if you look at the demonstrations that continue day after day after day in Hong Kong, and the fight for more democracy over there, and the begging and pleading from the UK government to help them out because they used to be part of the UK. That is something I think that China really doesn't understand how to deal with. They can understand, you know what, we're just going to devalue our currency and we're going to fight you that way. But the idea that people are protesting who they are and how they govern and how they manage their government, that's something that I think that they're really struggling with, much more so than the trade issues. And that's the one thing that we could really see as the biggest impact over the next little while.
All right, very clear. Well, thank you for joining us this morning, David Pierce, Director, GPS Capital Markets. Well, coming up on the show, we'll cross live to Westminster as Supreme Court hearings on the legality of Parliament suspension get set to begin.
Plus, cracks start to appear in Italy's new coalition government as former Prime Minister Matteo Renzi looks set to launch a breakaway party. More on both of those stories when we return.
These folks don't have time to go to the post office. They use Stamps.com. All the services of the post office.
We can't make the clock move any faster. We can't make your phone charge any quicker. And sorry, we can't speed up the traffic in Sutton Coldfield. But we can speed up the way you submit an energy meter reading. The British Gas app lets you book an engineer, as well as claim rewards and manage your accounts all within minutes. So you can spend less time running your home and more time enjoying it. Download the British Gas app today.
For people who want to feel happier, stronger, fitter, get further, faster, better. For people who want to, but don't always manage to. It doesn't matter how you want to do it, who you want to do it with. It matters that you want to. Virgin Active. We'll find a way for you. Join in September and get 15% off each month on 12-month memberships. Visit virginactive.co.uk. Participating gyms. Terms and conditions apply.
Winter might be on its way, but with Jet2 holidays, you can escape the cold. Discover sun-soaked destinations with 4- and 5-star hotels and 22 kilograms of baggage included. So why wait for summer? Book some winter sun now. Jet2 holidays. Package holidays you can trust. APTA and ATOL protected.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions, like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they are the right hire. And we give you this toy monkey, who will bang its symbols when the right CV appears on your desktop. Okay, there is no monkey. There is no monkey. But there are online skills tests.
See why more than 250,000 companies in the UK use Indeed for hiring. Visit Indeed.com/try today to try skills tests for free today. Terms and conditions apply.
No. No. No.
What are you doing?
I don't like any of our preset radio stations. We need a new car.
With the Jaguar E-Pace at $299 a month on personal contract hire, you'll find a reason.
That's better. And it's a Jaguar.